I just want to know, what is the truth?
As far as apocalyptic movies go, you can have your pick of the litter, from Terminator, Cloverfield, 28 Days Later, to The Day After Tomorrow. I don't think anybody ever really gets truly bored of watching these because the world ending is something that looms over our heads because we know that it's going to happen someday, probably sometime in our lifetime, but probably not. It always seems to be that we're in the end times, except these times never seem to end, and they get perpetually worse while paradoxically being hailed as the best time to be alive and the most peaceful times. All of these apocalyptic films always serve as some sort of cautionary tale about how we treated the environment or something that we've done being a result of what's happening now. But I think Leave the World Behind 2023 hits a lot closer to home based on its message. Also, I don't ever remember seeing a movie with Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon starring in it together, which I imagine is going to be very confusing for some people because for the longest while, many of us thought they were the same people. Thank goodness I figured it out years ago, so the people that are now just realizing this, haha, finally, I'm not the last at something. So the journey of Leave the World Behind kicks off by introducing us to Amanda Sanford, a cynical woman who on a spontaneous whim chooses to take her family on an unplanned vacation to an Airbnb house on Long Island. The sudden decision stems from her recent realization that she
Fucking hate people.
Bitch, I'm really out for blood this time, look.
Really? She just now realized that. This woman is old or older, and she works with people, and she just now is coming to that realization. Interesting. Well, she prepares everything, takes her husband, son, and daughter on this vacation to just leave the world behind, which is the motto of the Airbnb. While Amanda is getting some groceries for the Airbnb, we see an alternate version of her husband, Kevin Bacon, packing enough food and water to fill Noah's Ark, and he gives her the most, "the hell are you looking at?" kind of stare. Kevin Bacon is so beautiful. Even in his old age, this man is still a painting. It's gotta be the face shape. Ethan Hawke and Kevin Bacon, like the face shape, the hair, the eyes being close together but fitting because their faces are thin and long. It's gotta be what it is. Kevin Bacon's the GOAT. But you know, honestly, if I see someone doing that, I'm gonna get a little bit wary and wonder why. I mean, I wouldn't think of anything other than like, oh, we're gonna get some really bad weather, but dude is local and he is filling up. Like, that's the first thing I would think at least. Like, maybe I should get a little bit more because that guy's doing it, so.
Just don't let the kids see you.
Hey, I got another idea for a good time. Maybe?
Denied.
Why does it feel like this guy is basically begging to be intimate with his wife? You can tell this guy's in a desert and he's beyond thirsty. His throat is probably so freaking dry that it's turned to dust by how thirsty he is. Man, that's just sad. You can tell that this is probably one of the situations where the stars align just right after 20 years of drought.
We've got 15 minutes before they're begging to go to the beach.
That's all I need.
Just saying, this is one of the things that kills marriages, but yet you hear some spouses claiming, I was neglected and I wasn't getting my needs met. Really? What's better than being fully clothed at the beach? But oh no, their beach outing is ruined because a big oil tanker ship is heading straight for them. Because of course it is. This family is just so lucky and convenient that the worst and best things happen to them at the worst and best times. And like a scene from Out of the Lost World Jurassic Park 2, the big ship heads straight for the beach, named White Line, crashes right upon shore, where everyone waits to the last minute before they realize that the ship is heading straight for them. I mean, there are no ports anywhere near here or in their general vicinity, so I don't know why these dumb human beings thought that sitting there looking at it was the best course of action.
Wow. It's getting close, huh?
No shit, Sherlock! It's getting close? Boy, it's here. It's practically on the freaking beat. What's wrong with these people?
No, come on. It's gonna stop. It's got to.
She looks at him, she's like, you know, this is why you don't get any sex. So anyway, these freaking Darwin Award members get out of there, and everyone is wondering what the hell is going on. Ethan Hawke / Clay asks the officer what's going on and is given the answer that several ships have actually run aground and it has something to do with their nav system. Maybe it's just me and I'm really stupid, but are these ships on autopilot? Is there nobody watching or manning the ship in case? Like, what is this, a Titanic? Did we not learn from our past mistakes? Pretty sure if the nav system is acting wonky, the captain or whoever would sink see that there's something off when they see a freaking beach right in front of them. You know, I mean, like, it takes a while to probably slow a ship like this, but like, how close do you have to be before you realize that the ship is going to run aground unless they're all sleeping on the ship? See, the Jurassic Park movie, The Lost World, had a very good excuse. This scene worked because something on the ship ate the crew. So it made sense that the ship ran aground because obviously there's a freaking T-Rex and its family or its child on the ship and they get hungry. So are we to believe that people are this dependent on technology that they see the shore and they're like, well, the nav system says everything's fine even though I can clearly see land ahoy. Interesting. Aw, and here we see a doe and her fawn grazing in the backyard. Clay says it's a good omen seeing deer, except it's not. Notice that in horror movies or apocalyptic movies, seeing deer is always a bad sign. I don't know why, but they are creepy as shit in these type of movies. Like, for crying out loud. Horror movies seem to do this so well, and they'll take very harmless animals and make them terrifying.
Just don't stop the car!
She's an idiot.
Get down!
Well, good news.
All seems well with the family as they enjoy their vacay. The little girl named Rose only has one character arc for this entire movie, and it's to finish the final season of a show called Friends. And when they reached the Airbnb, they didn't have Wi-Fi and the internet's not working apparently, all the phones are down. So unfortunately for her, she can't finish the episode or see the season finale. So she's left on this horrible cliffhanger and can't watch the final episode, and I swear that's her only deal in this movie.
Mom, two problems. One, I was literally about to start the Friends series finale, but the internet on my iPad still isn't working.
Anyway, while the family's on their vacation, not long after, a man in a tuxedo and his snobby little daughter show up in the middle of the night claiming that this Airbnb is their house. There is the heaviest implications that the wife, main character Amanda, being wary of these people showing up in the middle of the night somehow means she's racist towards them.
This is our house. The George emailed back and forth with.
No, I remember the name. This is your house.
We'd have called, you see, but phones are out.
Yeah, my phone doesn't seem to have service. Someone says for telling the truth.
You know, because it's completely unbecoming of a mother to be protective of her family when two random people show up in the middle of the night when the internet and phones are down and the person has no form of identification or pictures to show that he is who he says he is, which is the owner of the house in a remote location. After we see him going around the house and trying, but you know, forgetting which keys go to what things, which I'm not gonna lie, that would make me kind of suspicious. We realize that he knows the house at least, but the wife did make a point that he could be someone who works for the owner of the house or who's a neighbor. I'm not even mad at her, because there's so many freaking crazy ass people who are pretending to be UPS delivery men so they can break into your house while their friends are just around the corner so that they can all intrude your home and possibly freaking kill you. So maybe I'm weird, but it's completely understandable for her to be dubious even though she comes off as annoying. The guy's daughter is definitely annoying though, Jesus Christ. And what? Let me guess, she didn't have ID either? None of them?
How convenient.
But then again, the owner of the house named George does mention that technology is one of those things that is crapulous because had Amanda actually talked to him, she would have recognized his voice and not been so wary.
The phones are out.
So we've established that the phones don't have any service. Stuff is going down in the city, and it turns out that George and his daughter, Ruth, want to stay in their home. Sorry, but tell me this wouldn't give you serial killer vibes. Like this movie could have easily have gone in that direction. George offered to refund them half their money, but it sucks because he and his daughter have to sleep in the basement of their own house. The National Alert Emergency Broadcast System comes on, and that's when everyone realizes there's something more sinister afoot. Not to mention that there have been cyber attacks across the country and power outages reported along the East Coast in metropolitan areas. I always thought it was interesting that we become so dependent on technology to the point where if something were to happen to it, and I don't just mean like a cyber attack or terrorist or anything, but if something like a solar flare or something of natural element were to take place, and there's a possibility of that happening every day, we become so dependent on it as it stands today that it would completely cripple our society. And like idiots, we make movies like this and still don't take heed. Tell me what sense that makes.
One, I was literally about.
Why does this little girl look like the oldest young person I've ever seen in my life. She looks like she's older than her mother in like a smaller body. You ever meet those kids that have like ancient faces? What is that? What part of natural selection decided that, and for what purpose? And I don't know if it's just me, but neither of the kids in this movie look like any of their parents. There's no service, but conveniently, so we can get little tidbits of suspense, we get bleed-throughs of what's happening on the other side of the world around our main characters. What is clear though is that there is a power failure. And because she has no service, the notifications are there and then they just disappear. Then remember how I said deer are creepy? Yeah, all of a sudden a bunch of bucks and does come out, and for some reason, Rose is the only person who sees them. And they're all just standing there and staring at the humans. Like, this is a thing that happens in this movie, and it happens a bunch of times. And nobody knows why. But yeah, this would properly freak me out. Look at all the freaking deer that are just staring at the house with the humans. Like, I would believe they're gonna freaking kill me. Why are you all staring in my direction? What is the purpose? Seriously, what is the purpose? Your house is surrounded by deer, and they're all looking through the windows at you, not doing anything, and acting completely unnatural. At this point, because of the deer behavior, despite everything else that happens in this movie, I'm sorry, I hate to be that person, but it has to be aliens. And I have a theory. These two don't like each other, and while Clay tries to go out to see if he can get some help, he gets lost because he's dependent on his GPS, so of course he does, even though men are supposed to be way better at directions. Meanwhile, George goes over to his neighbors, and at this point we believe he is who he says he is.
Whatever you say I am.
Rose tells her pervy brother that she saw something this morning, while her brother is now in love with George's daughter. She says the deer seem like they're trying to tell them something. I'm pretty sure her wearing a NASA t-shirt is not coincidence. As George enters the room of his neighbors, the carpets are completely drenched. Clay finds a Hispanic woman, and he can't speak a lick of Spanish. How wonderful would it be if they had translate? And they keep ping-ponging back and forth between George and Clay. Clay ends up leaving this woman who is hysterical and speaking Spanish, while Clay and this woman are unable to understand each other. My thing is, dude, if you realize a person that you're speaking to cannot comprehend you, habla inglés, maybe you should draw pictures? Is it just me that would have thought of that? Human beings have the ability to communicate with each other past words. Clay leaves her there because, I mean, they're not getting anywhere, and he feels really guilty about this. Then he sees a freaking drone dropping red stuff everywhere, and he pedals to the metal and gets out of there. Because I don't know what that is, and the first thing I thought is it's some kind of chemical, while the brother and sister are in a shed that they found, and the brother goes out of his way to try and scare her. George, in the meantime, finds out that his neighbor's beach behind their house is littered with dead bodies and plane debris, while the red stuff that Clay is trying to flee from are actually posters with something written on them. My thing is also, people know the nav systems are kind of messed up. George sees a plane heading for the area after seeing several plane crashes in the exact spot where he's standing. Bro, why is it taking you so long to move? That explains why the house is drenched and looks like a hurricane went through it. Wasn't fun watching this movie, knowing I had to take another plane ride, two plane rides back home. I wasn't scared though. If I'm ever gonna die, I think a plane's one of the best ways to go. You get to experience flying and free falling before you die at the same time. It's great. When GH comes back, he says the satellite phone his neighbors had didn't even work and he had a clear view of the sky. So the fact that the satellite phones aren't working is a big problem, which means the satellites are out too. He said the satellites are networked computers down here, so by now everyone's like, yeah, something else is happening. This is more than just, I think terrorists are doing it. Could be hackers, could be something else, but I'm sorry, my money's still on aliens.
Where are my kids?
Then this ear-piercing sound happens all the time. Every now and then it happens and it drives people insane and causes some people who are exposed to it to get sick and causes their teeth to drop out. Almost like radiation sickness. And this is why I'm like, it cannot be just humans doing this to each other. It's possible that the aliens are using people's technology against them. This is more than just hackers. Why does his face look just like the face on his shirt? That cannot be coincidence. Look at that. What the hell? Anyway, part 3, the kids are reunited with their parents, or their mom. Meanwhile, George's daughter is depressed because her mother was on a plane and all the planes are crashing out of the sky. Put 2 and 2 together, what do you get?
Disaster.
Half of what happens in this movie is everyone trying to figure out what's going on. When they realize it's really a problem, it's more than just a blackout, Amanda takes her family away from the house because they want to go see her sister. Sirens are going off, you know those tornado sirens or that droning noise you hear on the night of the purge?
This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement.
Funny, Ethan was in that one too, but he was more of a badass than he is in this movie. Don't think I've ever watched a movie where Ethan was a complete pushover. Now, I'm sorry, this part is scary to me. Before they even pull up and stop the car, it is eerily obvious. It is so freaking obvious and apparent that this holdup consists of a blockage of all the same car. And I immediately thought Tesla, because self-driving and all that jazz. I immediately thought that, which means that these cars all crash into each other, which means get out of the way. They're like, let's go see if we can get help. And she realizes this. Everyone knows what a Tesla is. Why does it require you to look inside the car before you realize what the frick is going on? As far as the eye can see, and these cars are new too. They came straight off the lot apparently. But they gotta play up the suspense by making the characters look astoundingly stupid. Full self-driving capability. I get it. People watching the movie might not know what a Tesla is. But they're probably the kind of people that probably wouldn't even get half of the allegories that this movie's trying to make anyway. Then she's like, get back in the car, hurry up. And it takes forever for people to listen. Look, if I am urgently telling you to do something and I'm yelling at you and running towards you and giving you a command, stop asking a bunch of questions.
Clay! Clay, get in the car!
Wait, should we wait and talk to him?
Get in the fucking car right now!
Stop asking questions, bro. What are you doing? Because he sees someone coming. It's obvious that it's another one of those cars. Maybe it's not to him, but if you had come out with your wife, you would have known that. But the kids are in the car. Whatever the case is, you see your wife being freaking urgent as hell, and you're going to act like nothing is wrong. But then again, you know what? I can't even blame him. And my husband got in an argument about this because he is like, I don't know, maybe it's a Brooklyn Italian thing where they all yell all the time for everything.
I could take a pizza I want.
No, you
It's
can't.
mine.
That was yours in front of you.
You're wrong.
You chose
You
that
took
side.
my half.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. When
I ate
started,
my side. I
this
ate
four-
my
No,
side.
you didn't. This four.
Me.
I had
you.
this.
Ma.
But something was happening and it was really urgent, and I didn't know that because that's always his MO. And he got mad at me because I wasn't taking him seriously when he needed help with something with the pups. And I was like, bruh, if your normal thing is always yelling and like being extra, how am I supposed to tell the difference unless you're screaming or unless I see you lying on the ground? You know what I mean? Maybe dial it back on a normal basis so I can actually know when urgency is urgency. And this guy in this relationship, maybe he's used to his wife, since she wears the pants, ordering him around all the time. So her screaming bloody murder is probably her norm, which is why he's not believing her urgency in this moment. That is literally very urgent.
What are you doing? Should we flag them down? Maybe they know something.
No one in that car!
This was an amazing scene. The series of event here when you realize, holy moly, it's a whole other lot of Tesla cars heading straight for them. This is freaking amazing or freaking terrifying. And Sam Esmail did this movie too, right? He's one of these guys. He's the one that did Mr. Robot, and that was a whole cautionary tale. Why am I saying cautionary? What is wrong with me? Cautionary, Jesus.
Jesus.
So there's no way they're getting out. I mean, this is horrible. Now, George did tell them that they could stay at his house. He said it wasn't safe for them to go back to the city, so he nicely offered for them to stay in his house. Can't really blame them because they wouldn't be with family, I get it. But guess where they end up going back?
Now what? Look at you. Stupid. Now I'm stupid, huh? I look stupid. That's what you're thinking? You look stupid.
So little dude here is like, you know what? Might as well spank it while I'm here. Not like I have a lot else going on, but he can't do it. Because it turns out this is a serious situation and he's freaking terrified. I mean, why would that stop? Never mind. Whatever. Kevin Bacon, the fuck? Old father here is filling up the jacuzzi bathtub thing, just in case they won't have water. Then old snobby girl is like, hey, wanna go get high with me? And I'm thinking to myself, if you freaking dare. Are you stupid, bro?
Have you ever fucked one of your students?
You know, bright neon signs should be going off right now, telling this guy he needs to run away, but he doesn't, like an idiot.
I can't believe you just asked me that. I mean, that's what I look like to you? I look like that kind of guy?
You didn't answer the question. Not that you need to, but, following up with that doesn't make you look very good. Just when you're about to think that, oh, he's gonna be unfaithful, old Amanda and Mr. Ali over here have a heart-to-heart and start liking each other. She explains to him how she absolutely hates people because they're awful. She even apologizes to him and uses herself as an example of how she treated him, even though she kind of at first had a reason to. Then he starts talking about his rich friends and how people were pulling out their stocks and leaving, which indicated that something was impending. The guy that usually laughs at his jokes didn't laugh when he made an off-kilter joke, and that is what set him off. The fact that the guy that laughs at everything, even things that are not funny, didn't laugh at his joke as he was telling George over here good luck and take care of himself. Now, at first, a fleeting thought entered my mind that, wow, he has all these friends and nobody told him what was going on even though they knew that the world was about to end. Some friends they are, but then you never know what human beings do when under stress. If they were to tell George what was going on, you don't know if George would have tried to take their stuff. You can't trust anyone. They almost do kissy, 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 and then he's like, we're married. Oh yeah, we can't. I have a wife and I miss her so much and she's probably dead somewhere on a plane that landed in someone's backyard. But I know if these guys end up staying in this house long term because it's a post-apocalyptic world now, people are gonna be sharing. Oh no, someone's feeling warm.
It's like Donnie Darko, and I'm pretty sure the husband wants to fuck me.
How do you know that?
What?
Call me crazy. This freaking culture is wild. I would never ever say something like that to my father. Then again, these are rich people, so I guess things just flow differently in their neck of the river. Just a very odd statement to come out and say to your father. Gross.
How do you know that?
He's not actually gonna do anything. He's not that guy, but did he want to? Abso-fucking-lutely. What? My point remains, I don't trust them.
So it's completely warranted that she doesn't trust these people, especially at a time like this. But when they had the chance that people did leave the house, everyone should be sticking together as much as possible. This woman is trouble. And then we get the thing we've all been waiting for because everyone's been heavy-handing it from day one.
Trust them.
I'm not gonna let anything happen to you if that's what you're asking.
I'm asking for you to remember that if the world falls apart, trust should not be doled out easily to anyone, especially white people.
Really, bitch? Really?
I don't think, it feels like this is one of the scenes where nothing else needs to be said.
Especially white people. Even Mom would agree with me on that.
Let me guess, your mom's white, which is why you said even mom. So you wouldn't trust your mother in a post-apocalyptic situation? Girl, what the fuck? I hope when she's in trouble in a post-apocalyptic setting and she breaks a leg and they have a community and the only surgeon on board or doctor on board is a white person, that she keeps that same energy. Or if someone wants to be nice and lift a car off of her or give her some food, that she keeps that same energy and she dies. We see a shot from the moon as the Earth eclipses the sun. The sun isn't waking up right away and he starts pulling his teeth out. They're loose and he thinks the best course of action is to start pulling all of them out. Why? Why would you do that? If all my teeth are loose, I know it's the end of the world and whatnot, but I don't think I would be pulling every single one of them out of my freaking face. What exactly does that achieve? I mean, yes, they're wiggly inside of you, unless they're absolutely hurting or something. But why? Except to disturb the freaking audience.
Something's wrong with Archie.
What is it? Oh, the fuck?
That's exactly what I said.
When George and Amanda were down in the basement last night, almost cheating, that sound happened again. Happens intermittently. And that's what they believe is causing the situation with their son. Oh no, they need medication. But also they can't find Rose, the little girl. She went off somewhere. And these two have to end up learning to love each other. I like how this girl was like, you don't even care that my mom is missing. Why should she? Why would you want her to care? You don't trust white people, remember? I get it, she's trying to be a snobby girl, but people like this come on the scene and her and the main character is really hard to like them. You're supposed to like these people, but they all come off as grossly unlikable, which is probably the point because that was the whole premise for this whole thing starting in the first place. Ethan Hawke and his sexier doppelganger meet face to face. He's a doomsdayer guy who has a bunker and everything, I think, but he stocked up and knew exactly what was happening. He believes it's the Koreans, and the reason why they were desperate enough to come out here is because he's George's friend, and this guy really needs help because his kid is dying, or they think he is, from radiation poisoning, and they need some pills, and they know the Doomsdayer guy has them. Meanwhile, George is shocked that his friend won't help because they're friends. Yeah, but did you come to check up on him since all of this started, boy? I like how they're so quick to like guilt the other person. He's talking about, we're friends, we grew up together, whatever, but you didn't even think to go over there and check if it was okay. He has a little girl up there. Meanwhile, Toothless is in the car waiting while things get tense. Then here come the deer again. These freaking deer are the creepiest thing about this movie. I swear swear to you, the whole world is going to absolute chaos. And the deer are like, human. And my theory is, I'll tell you at the end of the video. George is about to take matters to a whole other level, but Ethan gets in the way, Clay gets in the way, and pleads to the Doomsdayer guy, one father to another, trying to draw on his humanity, which works. Amanda and her hateful friend work together, and they end up scaring the deer away. You know, if people are doing this to a freaking herd of deer, they're not moving, I'm sorry. I think I might have to tap out. Life is no longer worth living because I'm convinced at this point they're going to eat me and siphon my meat through their hooves. Because it's so obvious that this is not normal behavior. They're not trying to tell you anything. Creepy. Looks like something generated by Dolly. The deer finally take off, but probably not for the reason they think. Oh no, we love each other now. Look at you trusting the old white woman. You go, girl. Kevin Bacon finally relents. And funny thing, the red stuff that was falling out of the sky, Ethan showed him that. It's like, no, dude, it's the Iranian dudes. But everyone is being told it's some other country doing it. The plane that dropped all those red cards, they are in different languages based on which region they're going to. And he's like, something happened in San Diego, drones dropping pamphlets, except they were in Korean. My buddy did tours in Iraq or whatever, wherever he was, and he's like, he would have known what this writing was. And the big writing on the front of the poster says death to America. They cannot stay with Doomsdayer guy, but he tells them that the other neighbor, the Thorn, have a bunker, an actual built-out bunker. So they start heading there. This is where our main character, George, tells us exactly what he's thinking. And he's half right, and I think I'm right. So the first stage of conquering or toppling an economy or nation is isolation. Cutting everyone off from social media and phones and internet so they cannot communicate with each other. Cutting off their transportation. Killing all the planes and ships so they can't go out the country. Leaving them deaf, dumb, and paralyzed as possible. Cutting off their escape routes. Can't travel by car. Then terrorize them with covert attacks and misinformation, which would leave their weapon systems vulnerable to extremists and their own military. And then the people turn on each other like they almost did just now. And if done successfully, the third stage would happen on its own.
What's the third stage? A coup d'etat. Civil war.
But mind you, this only works really well in an already dysfunctional nation. Told you, this is a cautionary tale to us, to our nation, with the dependence on social media, and us turning against each other.
Nation was the most cost-effective way to destabilize a country. Because if the target nation was dysfunctional enough, it would, in essence, do the work for you.
Now here is where I will say he's right and he's wrong. If every country so far that we've heard is having the same thing happen, where they don't know who's doing it, this is not just an American thing. Probably it is, but the one thing that doesn't seem to fall in line with any of this are the freaking deer. We find that Rose is fine. She's at the Thorns where everyone's going, and she's found a bunker. And for some reason, the owners are not there. And it's probably because, as they explained before, rich people go other places for vacation and they leave this house. The guy's rich enough, he probably had a bunker built here and wherever his family was going. They probably got caught up in the city when all this went down and couldn't get home, leaving this bunker filled with food, and then we have the prequel to Blast from the Past. I mean, this guy has everything set up. It's freaking crazy. And she's like, you know what? I knew exactly what was gonna happen here. Where's that Friends season? Let me find out. Yes. Let me finally finish this freaking season, because that is the only thing that matters, and I want to know that everything works out for them if nothing works out for me. And she's like, yes, I'm happy. And then the show freaking ends.
Stop lying.
6 hours later.
I know people are gonna lose their minds over this ending because most of what doesn't make sense is the behavior of the deer. Why was it just the deer acting like this? My theory is that the deer were aliens, either shape-shifting into them or taking control of their bodies, manipulating their behavior to unsettle the humans. The choice of the deer perhaps stems from how many deer there are in the area and the inherent creepiness that the aliens are probably aware of with deer in these types of movies. They may be breaking the fourth wall going on there. What the main character George said about toppling a nation, wouldn't that make sense for aliens to do? Just think about it for a second. Imagine you want to conquer Earth, right? Like a rogue, superpowered alien species, but you don't want to have to worry about the blowback and the resistance of fighting these creatures that have heavy weaponry and have them unite against you, because chances are they could win. They might win, or it would be too much trouble. It makes strategic sense to turn humanity against itself and let them self-destruct. I I remember whenever I'd play FPS games with my friends or my cousins. Now, I know I'm not the best FPS player, trust me, I understand that. So what I would do is I would play sniper role and I would sit somewhere very far and do jack. And this is for games that required you to have more kills or be the last one standing after you used up all your lives. So I would let everybody else kill off each other while I just sit there picking off people eventually when I have the opportunity, which I know is a risk because the minute I do, I would give away my location. And then with the last person standing, they realize to their horror the game hasn't ended, that someone is still alive, with them now like, what the hell is going on? Oh no, there's still someone alive, where are they on the map? I would go and pick them off like a freaking raptor. I would love it. Oh my god, it's so fun. I did the same thing in Super Smash Brothers, or I mean, practically any free-for-all type game where you have to take out an enemy. And I understood that, yeah, I was at a disadvantage based on my skill, and I played to my strength, which was waiting and using my brain to easily deduce that everybody else would wipe out each other first, making it easy for me, and instead of worrying about 6 different people, I only had to worry about 1. And it sucks, because then what my friends would eventually do is team up and try to find me first, because they were angry that I outsmarted them. That made it more fun. I don't know what they were so angry about, but whatever. That's what I think the aliens are doing. It has to be aliens, because then what was making that shrieking shrill noise that caused radiation? Some kind of weapon we don't know about? Each country blames the other, or it might just be America receives a myriad of conflicting information across its states. I mean, no way to know what's real because nobody had the internet, and when they did, it was all a bunch of chaos pointing fingers in each direction, and some even speculate that America made enemies, leading to a united front against it from other countries. I mean, it's not entirely far-fetched considering similar occurrences in history. Now, I swear to God, if people see this movie, they're like, man, that was some good entertainment. That was freaking creepy how that could happen. All right, let's go to the next one, and then they just forget about it. It's honestly very scary and kind of sad. It just proves the movie's point. You're so jaded and pacified by technology. I mean, people need to have a more united front. I think that's what they're trying to showcase in the movie, among so many other things. It emphasizes the importance of people finding common ground, setting aside differences, and recognizing our shared humanity. Only through unity can we overcome the oppression of us being pacified and us being made into docile cattle, just designed to consume, and not think about it. The first crucial step in this process involves reducing our dependence on technology, relying on our eyes and not unquestioningly accepting every single thing the media presents. I really found it to be a good movie, even though the ending left room for a bit more closure. I mean, that was wild the way it ended, but it's open to interpretation to a lot of things. I think they left it that way on purpose. And now that I think about it, the cliffhanger with Friends, the way the girl was like, I need to watch the season finale because I don't know what's gonna happen. I want to know that everything works out for them. I want to know that they're okay and blah, blah, blah. They kind of did the same thing to us that Rose, the little girl, was going through for the whole movie because we don't know how it ends for them. These people could die for all we know. Do they actually unite? Do they make it through whatever this is? Do we find out exactly what it is? Who knows, right? There might not ever be a sequel. This could all be a freaking fever dream for all you know. Anyway, Leave the World Behind was excellent in terms of, you know, I don't know what you would call it. Thriller, sci-fi, mystery, drama? What category does this fall into? Apocalyptic, but not? Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.